All right, welcome back to Burn Pile, episode 25. Wow, that's a lot. I'm feeling a little bit today like I did when I used to not do my homework until the day before. All through my school years, I would just wait until the end, do my homework the morning of, the night before, or something. I don't know why. It was really retarded. It wasn't until I got to college that I discovered that if you just do a little bit each day, it's way easier. And then that was like secret technology I unlocked, which I guess everybody else just knew that. But today I'm feeling that way again because I don't have a busy job that makes me do a lot. But I did take on a job. I'm doing it for about 8 weeks, starting in June. Starting at the end of June, but I have to have some document ready for it tomorrow. And instead of getting that ready, which I've had like probably 2 months to get it ready, I've been doing other things. Actually, I mentioned a few weeks ago that I was going to not get involved in another stupid video game after Oblivion and not ruin my life. And I was going to, do creative things and do all this and that. And I still am doing all those things, but I did start playing Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous again, and I did get further than I did in my first attempt to play that game. And I don't know, 30 hours into it or something. I just entered chapter 3. It's a great game. Really, really good. If you like that sort of thing. I usually don't play games like that. I think the only other game I played like that was Rogue Trader, also from Owlcat Games. Nice, good Russian game studio. It's good to support the troops, play those Russian games. I guess they actually moved their studio to Greece to pretend that they're not Russian, but come on, what are we doing? All right, well, part of me feeling like I didn't do my homework in time is I guess I'm going to finish recording this about 30 minutes before I'm supposed to publish it, which is cutting it a little close. I often do like an hour or 2 hours before I have to publish it. Gives me time to work on a gay thumbnail or something, but it's not going to work this time. I'm really going to have to shit this one out. But that's okay. I actually did prepare. I do have some news stories. But I was worried a little bit for a while if I was going to have enough news stories because I was playing so much Pathfinder. If I was actually going to have enough to do it. I was reading books on the train and the bus instead of looking for news stories. And I was playing Pathfinder when I came home, and I thought, am I going to have enough? But then the news came through in a big way for me this week. It made it very obvious what had to be talked about. Let's start with just a silly one here. The Diddy trial. So I saw a graph that said that that podcast I like, Rotten Mango, where that Asian lady, Stephanie Sue, she like talks in a very, very female coded way about these horrific true crime things, and she's the number 3 podcast on YouTube. It's Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, and Rotten Mango, her podcast. All because she's actually like in New York, just podcasting about the Diddy trial. She's just there's no cameras allowed, but she's just sitting there every day, and then she comes back to her hotel at night and records a podcast about what happened. I first heard this on her podcast, but I'm not going to play any clips from her podcast. I just wanted to get this headline out here, this quote that she mentioned, because there's a new lawsuit against Diddy, not the big one, the big trial that's ongoing, but this one is much funnier. Here's the headline: Diddy sued for raping woman with quote Tootsie Roll sized penis. Now, here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. I don't care if if he's beating the shit out of these women, if he's got some kind of Abu Ghraib style thing going on, he's got them chained up, he's, whatever he's doing, I don't know. If he really did all that to a woman, if he really did everything that they say and more, these freak offs, and he's like bringing male prostitutes to come fuck his girlfriends and whatever, and it's all against their will or something, and it's all like the stuff of nightmares, it's as bad as they say. If that's all true, but one of these women said that his penis is a Tootsie Roll, then they're even. They're even. I mean, I'm not black, so I've never considered the insult. But for a black man's penis to be called a Tootsie Roll, that's not right. That's too far, ladies. Reaching a little too close to the sun with that kind of comment. All right, let me get the full quote here because it's very amusing. Let's see. Okay, all right. She explains. This is from this lawsuit, not the one with the Ventura lady, Ace Ventura, I think is her name. This is the new one. Okay, all quoting from this article on the HollywoodGossip.com. I just don't want to play a clip from Rotten Mango, so I'm reading this instead. But this is shit. But an article's an article. Okay, she explains that following several encounters, including one in which Combs allegedly berated the woman for ending their date ahead of schedule, she and a friend wound up at Combs' New York City apartment on or about July 31st, 2001. The woman says she and her friend were given drinks that made them feel weird, and that Combs forcefully led her inside his bedroom, where he put his hand around her throat and said, "I'm going to suck the life out of you." That's a little vampiric. The thing is, women, they read all this like erotica about vampires. They read all this sexy vampire stuff. And when a guy tries to really do it, they're not into it, Like a wealthy vampire in New York City, taking you to his like luxury apartment, and then suddenly you're not turned on. So, okay, let's go on. So Jane Doe claims that Combs then held her arm down, quote, while using his other hand to swiftly unbuckle his belt and pants before pulling out his erect bearskin penis, which appeared to be the length and girth of a large Tootsie Roll. Now, this is how I know that she's lying. Okay, this is how you know. You can tell if something was written by a man or a woman. You can tell when a woman is lying and being genuine. You can tell when a man is. Women do not use the word girth when describing a penis. Okay. Um, if you're reading like something erotic, right? One tell that a man wrote it is the description of the penis is always very very long. Like the description of the penis is very creative. Like a lot of male energy goes into the description of penises when men are writing. It doesn't have to be erotica; it could be anything. When a woman writes, a woman's not going to use the term girth at all. Okay, that's a that's a male word. So this is practiced. This is total bullshit. It's designed to get as much of a reaction as possible. Um, Saying it's the length and girth of a large Tootsie Roll. Okay, actually, she gave him a little bit of an out there. Are there really large Tootsie Rolls? Let's see. Large Tootsie Roll. I apologize to those of you who are just listening. Let's see. Got any images here of a large Tootsie Roll? There's some king size. There's some king size Tootsie Rolls. She didn't say king size though. She said, "Oh, we've got a comparison of some different sizes here." But I think, she meant like she said a large Tootsie Roll, but she meant like basically it was a Tootsie Roll, but it was just like it wasn't like a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Roll. It was maybe like twice the size of a Tootsie Roll. Like not like a special kind of king size Tootsie Roll, but like one from the factory that got a little too much Tootsie into the roll, and it just like so it came out into the wrapping machine and the wrapper could barely wrap around it. I think that's what I'm pretty sure that's what she's talking about. Yeah, it's fucked up. That's fucked up. But hopefully our boy gets clear of the charges. We always want to support Diddy. This is a pro Diddy podcast. Okay, that was just a little quick one. That's not even the most interesting thing that happened this week. I guess I should clarify. Last week, I made some statements about men's prostates that got a little bit of attention because I was talking about Joe Biden's prostate cancer, and of course the great Scott Adams prostate cancer. And I said something that was incorrect, and I need to go on the record now and, as Hillary Clinton said, correct the record. And I need to bring this up now. So, last week I was talking about prostates, and I said that prostates are something that only gay men have, and that they're sort of, they're like biological proof that being gay is a biological thing. It's what you're born with, because gay men have a prostate. That's how they have their prostate orgasms, and that's why they like getting fucked in the ass. And I said it's straight heterosexual men don't have a prostate, and gay men do. Now, I admit that I was wrong about that. I said heterosexual men don't have a prostate, gay men have a prostate. That's misinformation. Okay? That's not true, and I want to apologize. I want to apologize right now to the gay guys who are tops who also don't have prostates. So prostates, it's not, forget about what I said last episode. I'm not going to go back and edit it, but I just want to set it straight here on episode 25. It's not that straight guys don't have a prostate and gay guys have a prostate. It's that straight guys and gay guys who are tops don't have a prostate, and gay guys who are bottoms do have a prostate. So I apologize for that bit of medical misinformation. I know we have a lot of doctors listening, a lot of people who are into the biological sciences. And I just wanted to set that straight. Okay, guys. So sorry about that. They are talking about maybe doing these sort of MRIs, like these really, really deep ultrasounds for pregnant women. And they'll be able to tell if the male baby has a prostate so that the couple can abort it so that they won't have a baby who's going to grow up to be a gay bottom. Now, that does raise some ethical concerns. I'm not sure exactly what my church's stand is on that. I would think that they would be for it because when God makes a prostate, it's always a mistake, and he wants to correct it. He would, if you do a test like that and you see that there's a prostate, you would say, oh, God would be like, what? Oh, I let another one slip through. Could you guys take care of that one before it becomes a person? And just chop, just get it done. Maybe those guys making like dire wolves and making those bioengineered woolly mice like we talked about, maybe they could start doing some kind of gene therapy to get rid of a prostate. Can you imagine? What if you could go to a gay guy and give him an injection to make him not gay anymore? I think they'd do it, honestly. I think most of them would. All right. Well, we talked about Diddy's Tootsie Roll, and we corrected the record on prostates. So now let's get into some things that matter a little bit. Some things that actually matter. Okay. Let's go to the New York Times, which never lets us down. Headline here, Kennedy says healthy kids don't need COVID shots. Is that true? Now, this is odd to me because the New York Times, I thought that they've totally capitulated on COVID. It's a weird battle to fight. I mean, it seems like it's in the zeitgeist, it's in the mainstream, basically, that all the conspiracy people were 100% right about COVID, right? I mean, like the vaccines do fuck your heart up, right? I guess I'll get taken off YouTube for that, but did YouTube surrender on this? I mean, didn't it come out like even like years ago, like in kind of in the middle of it? Like there were some European countries that didn't allow certain vaccines because they can fuck your heart up. And the COVID, it definitely came from a lab in China. Like the New York Times view of the world was shown to be completely false, and the retarded view of the world was shown to be factually correct. So it's weird that they're still kvetching about this kind of thing. I mean, should a kid get a COVID shot? No, obviously not. Here's what the data tells us about COVID's risks to children and the benefits of vaccination. All right, so it's odd enough. It's just odd on its face that they're even still doing this. Like I thought they gave up on this. Maybe they feel like because Trump's back in the White House, they can be like, hey, remember we're on this team. They can do sort of this stuff, which in itself is odd because Trump was the vaccine president. He after he lost to Biden, he was still touring the country saying that the vaccine was one of the greatest accomplishments of his administration. So I don't know at what point the teams got flipped around, but whatever, they did get flipped around. And saying anything about COVID shots being good is female coded. It's cuck coded. It's gay. And saying that vaccines aren't real is based and cool. So the New York Times is they're fighting the good fight, and they've got this little headline here. That's actually not exactly why I wanted to bring this up. Why I wanted to bring this up is because it gave me a little flashback. Oh, well, I read a comment, the top reader's pick, gave me a little flashback to being in the middle of COVID and a conversation I had with someone. I'm going to go ahead and read that comment right now. This is from Jen in Indianapolis. This is the New York Times pick. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was a reader's pick, but this is a New York Times pick. This is the one the editors like. But still, over 1,100 people recommended this one. Okay. So here's Jen. This is what Jen says. Her comment, I'll read it now. These decisions are supposed to be made by a group of independent vaccine experts that advises the CDC. In parentheses, the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, and not by an openly biased and partisan political appointee. I therefore have no faith that these are evidence-based policies. So this reminds me so much of a conversation I had in the middle of COVID with someone who's a nice guy, friendly to me, smart guy, very reasonable, very articulate. And I just had a conversation that was very frustrating. And I feel this way about Jen as well. I'm sure she's a lovely person. Not really. She commented on a New York Times article, so she's not really a lovely person. But this guy I knew in my real life was. This idea that you could take decisions of power and just give them to someone who's going to be unbiased. Right? Because so it's vaccines. So you give it to the, what she say, the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. And the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices is incorruptible, I guess. I mean, so we don't like our politicians making decisions because they're biased and they're selfish and they're corrupt. Now, that's all true. I agree with that. Even the politicians that happen to be on my side are often those things. But the reason that they're corrupt is because they're the decision makers. So if you just change who the decision maker is, then those people who become the decision makers will become corrupt. So we elect the politicians so they can have some kind of accountability to us. They're supposed to make decisions in our face, and then they answer to us for those decisions. If you try to build another layer between the politician and between us, that's not good. If the politician's like, well, I'll just do whatever the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices says, well, no, you won't. You'll do whatever I say. What did the committee say? Why do you want to go with what they said? You explain that to me. It's like with Epstein, he was having rich people and politicians fly to his island. He was also having people who were on these kind of committees. I think he had someone on some like science advisory board at like Harvard. Now, why did he do that? Why did he do that? Because that person had power. So the people on the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices have power. So off the top of my head, they are corruptible by, let's say, vaccine companies. I don't know that they are. Probably they are. I haven't looked into it. It's the first time I ever heard of the committee. I don't really care. But my point is just the general principle. It's going to be like, oh, I don't make those decisions. This guy does over there. If someone comes to me with $1 million in a briefcase and says, Wizard Cat, we need you to do this thing for me. You need to do this thing for us. Here's this suitcase full of money. And I say, oh, I don't do that. This is the wrong house. It's the guy next door. He decides all that stuff. They'll be like, oh, sorry, and they'll take their briefcase and they'll go knock on his door. So just I understand what Jen is saying, but like in Jen's worldview, there's the possibility that there would be independent vaccine experts who are not biased. And I guess the implication would be not corruptible. Like, so this is the argument I got in with my friend in my real life. He's like, we were saying something, and I was like, yeah, well, I hope they do this. And he's like, well, they should just do whatever, like, you know, someone says. I don't know if you're talking about the CDC or whatever. And I was like, well, why? Like, why is the CDC better than the politician we elected? They're just people. And, you know, we know this all came out, like, they were sending emails with each other, you know, Fauci and all these top scientists, because, you know, they accidentally made a virus that killed a lot of people. Like, they made COVID in a lab. So, like, you don't think they'd want to cover it up? I'd rather have the advisory committee on immunization practices answer to a politician that I've elected, so that if he doesn't punish them when they make a super weapon, then we can, in theory, elect someone who does. I mean, I don't exactly believe in democracy, so I don't really care that much, but I want like a king to make the decision, you know? Like the king. If you have a king and not like an elected official, then the king has total rule over everything. What more power could he possibly want? And then you can have everything oriented around that idea, and in that way he becomes something like incorruptible. That's the idea for why a monarchy is better than a democracy. Of course, it won't work out like that. The king will he'll want to kiss the feet of black men and speak Portuguese or something. Speaking of which, effortless segue to our next story. Glenn Greenwald. Glenn Greenwald, he was listening to Burn Pile for a while now, and he realized we need news stories, and we need them every week. And he really, really, really came through for us this time. Glenn Greenwald, of course, he was the journalist who was big with reporting the Snowden leaks. Now, I really liked Glenn Greenwald, of course, for the Snowden reporting, but also he was one of the founders of The Intercept, the news outlet The Intercept. And he also really wanted to, he was like supposed to be a senior editor at The Intercept because he helped found it, and he was supposed to be allowed to publish anything that he wanted. Now in the 2020 election, he wanted to publish all about the Hunter Biden laptop really close to election day. And The Intercept, which he was supposed to have editorial control over, and he was supposed to be, you know, he was one of the co-founders of it, refused to publish his article about Hunter Biden, and they basically forced him out. It was pretty crazy. Like, I was really shocked by that, and he was kind of a hero of mine for doing that. Like, he did everything he possibly could. Now, all right, let me bring this up. I need to get into his personal life here, because that's why we're interested in him today. He's one of these guys with an absolutely amazing Wikipedia page. Okay, here we go. So now, if you don't know what happened this week, Glenn, a video came out, and Glenn Greenwald, he lives in Brazil. He's lived in Brazil for a long time now. He's he's in Brazil, and he calls into like the Red Scare podcast every once in a while, does an hour with them. He's very like gay and entertaining, and I'm like this based guy with all these based opinions, but really I'm like this flamboyant, harmless gay guy, Glenn Greenwald, by the way, definitely does have a prostate. And this video came out where I guess people are shocked. He's dressed in like a skirt and like some kind of weird, very feminine outfit, and he's on his knees, and there's some black guy talking to him in Portuguese, and he's answering in Portuguese, and then he makes the black guy makes him like kiss his feet. It's very entertaining. I watched it thousands of times and pounded off the whole time, wishing that I was Glenn. He now this doesn't this is I guess it was supposed to be shocking. I wish I didn't see it, but it's shocking if you thought that he was like a normal guy, I guess. But I knew that he was gay, and I knew that he was quote married, because gay marriage is not real. I mean, gay guys can have lifelong relationships. Those can even be beautiful relationships, just like relationships between any kind of men can be beautiful. But it's not anything like marriage. I mean, come on. But if you and like he and his quote husband had adopted like 2 kids in Brazil, and if you listen to interviews with him and you thought, he's a married guy, because that's what a gay guy could be. He's just like a nice married guy, and he's a family man. Like, this is what gets you have people are allowed to vote who hear about a gay guy getting married and think that he's like a family man. Those people are allowed to vote to give the CDC advisory board complete authority over your life because they're incorruptible. Basically, like, women who watch a lot of like TV, or who used to watch like network TV, actually believe that like a gay guy would get like married, and that would be like a marriage, and there would be like a family, right? If you have that worldview, then I guess you would be shocked by like the Glenn Greenwald video. For me, as soon as I knew he was gay, I knew he was doing all that stuff. But, he was doing a lot of stuff that I liked. His writing, his reporting was good. And he was also entertaining enough on Red Scare. So, no problem with me. I don't need to see the foot kissing video. But if you thought he was like you thought he was maybe going to join your church and bring his husband and kids, well, actually, he can't bring his husband. His husband's dead. He's a widower, which is another conundrum. I got to write these down. I actually, I got to take these to the local church here, because we've got 2 questions now, which is if an MRI or whatever they call it, they don't give you an MRI when you're pregnant, right? A ultrasound. If an ultrasound reveals that a baby has a prostate, is it ethical to abort the baby? Okay, that's the first one, because having a prostate means that it's a gay bottom. Okay, that's the first conundrum. Second conundrum, something about Glenn Greenwald. Oh no, I lost it. I'll play back the tapes and figure out what it is I was going to say. Hold on. Okay, now I got it. I stopped recording. I went back. I listened to the tape. I remember where I was going with this. The second ethical question for the church is it okay to call... All right, stay with me here. Is it okay to call a gay guy who was married but whose husband died a widower? Right? Because if you don't recognize the marriage, then you can't recognize that he's a widower. All right, that was totally not worth it. What a huge fag I am. Almost as gay as Glenn Greenwald. All right, let's read this. Personal life. In 2005, Greenwald, aged 38, vacationed in Rio de Janeiro, where he met 19-year-old David Miranda, who had spent his childhood in the Hasareshinjo favela. Days after they met, Greenwald and Miranda moved in together. They later married and lived in Rio de Janeiro. Okay, so now if you read that story and you're like a woman or something, you might be like, ooh, little bit of a troubling age gap, but I won't judge. Now, if you're anyone else, you know that Greenwald was flying to Brazil, trolling around the favelas looking for young boys to fuck. And I mean, fine, you know, go for it. I don't really love it, but hey, whatever. Do your thing. No, not actually. Actually, I think it's gross. I think it'd probably be. I won't finish that sentence, but you know, if people could be prevented from doing things like that, that would be ideal. Okay, so he finds this 19-year-old boy, and they move in together, and they get quote unquote married. All right, 2017, the couple announced that they had obtained a legal guardianship of two brothers from Maceió, a city in northeastern Brazil. They formally adopted the boys in 2018. That's odd. I won't say anything else. That's odd. Miranda served as a congressman with the left-leaning PDT party, having formerly represented the PSOL party. Greenwald and Miranda were close friends, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, let's skip here. In May 2023, Greenwald announced via Twitter that Miranda had died of a gastrointestinal infection in Rio de Janeiro hospital after a 9-month ICU stay. Well, you know, I don't want to come out and say that there are health risks associated with eating ass, but gastrointestinal infections are quite common in certain communities, so I've heard. So anyway, anybody who knew anything about Glenn Greenwald, who wasn't a retard, would not be in the least surprised by the video that came out. I mean, it's not possible to be surprised by that. Yeah, it's disgusting or whatever. But what I do wonder, because he does a lot of like, he's Jewish himself, I think. Well, I have this right here. Greenwald, that's definitely a Jewish name. Yeah, he's Jewish 100%. But he's very against like the insanity that's going on in Israel right now. So I really wonder, like, if this came out, like, what's the point? Like, the Mossad probably has like a treasure trove of him like fucking favela boys for like decades now, and they decide to release this now. I mean, is it just like, are they just like, you know, okay, we'll release this one. I don't know. There's got to be some more. Hopefully, some more come out. So I can watch them and so I can watch them and pound off. Let's move on. Next story. Let's go back to France, shall we? Remember I talked about France last week? There was that really great... Oh, why is my browser being so gay right now? There was that really great story last week with the French druid eating the guy. You remember that? French druid making potions. He ate some guy. No, he didn't eat him. He just cut him up into little pieces and cooked him. Cooked him with the vegetables. But I don't think he ate him. But that was France. What can you expect from a country with a president who met his wife when he was 16 and she was 38 while she was his drama teacher? What can you expect from such a country? And I know what you're thinking when you hear that that's how the president met his wife. You're thinking, I bet their relationship is very strong and things are going great now. But it's not so. It seems like it's not so. I've got a video up here. Macron. Who knows how you pronounce words in that disgusting language. Macron gets slapped by furious wife in embarrassing airport moment. All right, so I'm going to play here. There's a nice Asian stewardess here. That's the funniest thing. There's an Asian stewardess here. And she's got the plane door open. She's walking. And then, boom, she's taken aback. This hand from Macron's wife comes from behind where you can't see where the plane is and touches his face and shoves him in the face. It's not really a slap. It's being called a slap. It's not exactly a slap. It's more like she puts her hand on his face and kind of shoves him in anger, like what a baby does. Sometimes babies will do that. Anyway, very funny, very cool. Candace Owens believes that Macron's wife has a dick and that she's actually a man. Now, I don't believe that just because the story's already so funny. It's already hilarious. It's already like one of those stories in America that gets made fun of all the time where the 30-something teacher sleeps with the teenage student. And imagining them as the first lady and the president is already very funny. So it can't be that she also has a cock. It's too much. It's like, I don't know. It's like reality is engaged with like an ad-libbing kind of improv thing with Candace Owens. And she's just she's gone too far and she's made it stupid. So she's a little bit wrong about that. Can't go with her all the way on that. But there is something cool here. Our president, and by that I mean not just America, but I include Greenland and Canada with this. Our president had something to say about it. It was very cool. All right, this is a tweet from Benny Johnson, and he's got the video here from a journalist asking him this question. Okay, so here he is in the Oval Office. I'm going to play it. Should be able to hear this audio. Okay, here we go.
This week there was a video on board a plane that showed the First Lady of France slapping her husband, Emmanuel Macron. Do you have any world leader to world leader marital advice on Macron?
Make sure the door remains closed.
He is a once in a generation talent, Donald Trump. I don't care, actually. He can, if he's gonna have content that good, then he can he can give Israel all the missiles we have, as far as I'm concerned. If you're watching the video, my wizard cat just froze. Don't worry, folks. I'm going to fix it. There we go. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's just... How can we live in a world that's this entertaining, where there's this much going on? And Macron was also doing cocaine last week. It was like him and a bunch of other European leaders meeting to discuss Ukraine. And they like had a bag of cocaine on the table because they didn't think there would be journalists, and Macron like tried to like discreetly kind of grab it and hide it. I'm sure that's made up. That's Russian propaganda, but still, I believe it. It's fun. Don't let people tell you it's not fun out there. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. All right, let's go on. I saw a little tweet that got me thinking about this whole banned book thing. This does really bring my piss to a boil a little bit when people talk about banned books. So this is a tweet from Robert Bork III. I've never heard of this guy. I don't even think I don't follow him. Just got on my timeline somehow. Banned book speakeasy. Look inside. The most easily obtainable books in existence. So the book list they have here, it's like Catcher in the Rye, Huckleberry Finn, Handmaid's Tale, The Color Purple, To Kill a Mockingbird. That's just like a list of books to read that you'd get like assigned. That's the list you get in like any school. You get that assigned. And I've always hated this. I've always had I like to read books, as I've mentioned. There's something very sinister in a lot of like bookstores. There's just this seeping, sinister, feminine energy in so many bookstores. It's just really gross and disturbing. Like, I remember as a kid in the bookstores, there would sometimes be these little banned books sections, and it's like, okay, so there are 50 states, there are over 300 million people in this country, there are tens of millions of children with, over 100 million people are parents, and some parent somewhere complained to some library in an elementary school, a quote-unquote library. It's just a room with some books in it, and there's maybe someone there watching the books and maybe not. There are these, if you didn't grow up in like a rural area, there are schools with like, I went to a school that was like K through 8 and had maybe 120, 150 students total, right? So they're like these are really, really tiny places. So like some mom goes in and says, hey, this book shouldn't be in the library. I hate it. And she's an ignorant person, and it's some like classic book or something, To Kill a Mockingbird or whatever. My 8th grader tried to read To Kill a Mockingbird, and they shouldn't be allowed to read it or something for whatever reason, because the N-word's in there, because it makes white people look bad, whatever. And then that little nothing of a happening gets reported in the news all over the entire country. This book got banned. This is a banned book. It's banned where? Where is it banned? It's banned in this elementary school with 200 students. Who banned it? Someone with power? A mom? There are banned books in my house. There are books I don't want in my house, right? It's not banned. It's not banned. That's retarded. There are actual, like, real banned books, and they're not The Catcher in the Rye. But so that news story goes out, whatever. To Kill a Mockingbird got banned. It's a banned book. Then in bookstores all around the country, this is very feminine. This is why women dominate the book industry. in like 1,000 bookstores all around the country and the world. Now that book, a copy of it, is displayed under a banner that says banned books. It's like, it's such a bitchy thing to do. It's so bitchy. It's so female to do that. It's so gross. This is why I despise women. No, I'm joking. Of course I love women. But this level of vindictiveness to take like the most popular books in the world and be like, oh, these are banned books, but you can buy them here. I just hate it. And that, even when they're not doing that, even when it's not about banned books, that kind of vicious energy just suffuses every bookstore in the world. You just got to get in there, get to the section, get to the Penguin Classics, get to the Greeks, grab them and get out. You just be like, I need the Iliad, not the one that was translated by a woman that everyone's talking about. One of the good ones, and I need to get the fuck out. All right. There are actual banned books. There's like Antelope Hill Publishing. They have some banned books. I was thinking about reading some of those. Let's look those up. What do they have? I actually haven't looked at their website in a while. We're going to do some live lookups right now. Antelope Hill Publishing. They've got some real books that like no publisher will actually touch, if I recall. Greatness and Ruin. Okay, yeah. Here's a title of a book that's actually banned. Peasantry as the Lifeblood of the Nordic Race. That sounds like a real banned book. Let's take a look at this. Can we find this in Borders? Oh, it's by a senior member of Adolf Hitler's cabinet. Served as the Reich Minister of Food and Agriculture until 1944. His ideas, as elaborated in The Peasantry as the Lifeblood of the Nordic Race, and his thought-provoking sequel, A New Nobility of Blood and Soil, proved extremely influential on National Socialist thinking and greatly strengthened the party's agrarian and agriculturalist wing. See, that's a banned book, okay? If you want to have a label called banned books and have a bunch of books under that, because it's like saying when you put up a sign in your bookstore that says banned books and then you start putting books underneath that sign. When you do that, you're like waving a flag that like, I'm a badass. I don't care about the consequences. I break the rules. And when you're putting fucking Catcher in the Rye up there, you're stealing valor from people like Antelope Hill Publishing, who are doing something that's actually really funny. Now, I'm not saying I agree with the statements in this book necessarily. I haven't read it. I'm probably not going to put it on my stack, but you can buy it. And this is, this is what an actual banned book is. What if you went into like a pop-up like bar and they actually were trying to do this? They were like, welcome to the banned book speakeasy. Would you like a Lifeblood of the Nordic Race, Bloody Mary? That would kick ass. Somebody should actually do that. Somebody should make something where, like, on the surface you can tell it's going to be super gay, and then you get in there and it actually kicks ass. That would be great. All right, intolerant interpretations. Okay, let's see. Let's see what this one's about. Intolerant interpretations. Oh, this looks boring. Yeah. This is some boring Nazi psychology thing. I don't know, but you get the point. You get the point. There are real banned books, and then there's the gay shit that your aunt is talking about because she's retarded and she watched the news and something innocuous got banned in some tiny school that doesn't matter. Huckleberry Finn getting banned. I mean, I guess it just because of the N-word. I mean, oh, let's check out Antelope Hill discount bundles. Let's see. They have oh, you can get both those books. You can get Peasantry as the Lifeblood of the Nordic Race and A New Nobility of Blood and Soil. Okay. All right. Prices between $44.89 and $59.89. All right, not bad. The Wyndham Lewis bundle. Okay, one of these books is just called Hitler. Let's see. All right, purchasing Hitler individually. Click here. Yeah, let me see what Hitler's about. I'm intrigued. And there's no description. Oh, here we go. Wyndham Lewis was a British novelist, painter, essayist, and polemicist, credited with being the founder of the only modernist movement from Britain, Vorticism. Lewis approached politics as an aesthetic discipline. Hey, me too. In his 1931 work, Hitler, was written after his visit to Germany that year and highlights the charged atmosphere and uneasy tension that permeated Berlin. Bringing his wit and humor to analyze a country on the eve of revolution, Lewis argues that in contemporary emergency conditions, Hitler may truly be the best option for Germans. Banned books. These are actual banned books. Yeah. Well, you get it, folks. So I guess on that note, I think we'll take us out with our alternate outro song, which mentions the man by name. All right, thanks everybody. See you on the next one.
Hold on, buddy. Before you hit that vape, replace that coil, use this one. This one has been Hitlerized by racial conflict. Oh, and here's the blueberry lemon juice. This stuff is full of Hitlerized salts. Now careful of those clouds you're puffing are a powerful delousing agent. Puffin' Hitlerized juice, Hitlerized clouds taste like Hitlerized fruits. Blueberry lemon goes hard like a delousing agent. Puffin' Hitlerized juice, vaping racial conflict. Puffin' Hitlerized juice, vaping racial conflict. Hold on, buddy. Before you hit that vape, replace that coil, use this one. This one has been Hitlerized by racial conflict. Oh, and here's the blueberry lemon juice. This stuff is full of Hitlerized salts. Now careful of those clouds you're puffing are a powerful delousing agent. Puffin' Hitlerized juice, Hitlerized clouds taste like Hitlerized fruits. Blueberry lemon goes hard like a delousing agent. Puffin' Hitlerized juice, vaping racial conflict. Puffin' Hitlerized juice, vaping racial conflict. Puffin' Hitlerized juice, Hitlerized clouds taste like Hitlerized fruits. Blueberry lemon goes hard like a delousing agent. Blueberry lemon, Hitlerized. Racial conflict in the Poughkeepsie vape store. Indian man selling me vape juice is confronted as he's holding the item he intends to charge me for by an African American youth. His face entirely covered in a black mask, insisting that the Indian man allow him to charge his phone in the store. The Indian man refuses, says, "New brew, my boss already call me ass." Why customers waiting 30 minutes, who that and back? I can't brew, I can't, yo. Says the youth, bro, just let me charge my phone, bro. I ain't even doing nothing, I can't let you do that. Says the Indian, no, bro, I can't, no, I already let you. I'm in trouble, he's still holding my fucking coils, bruh. Says the youth, just let me charge my phone, bro. How much that charger? I'll pay, it is not for sale. The Indian, still holding my increasingly Hitlerized coils. The youth finally steps away, then he turns around. Yo, what the fuck? What says the Indian man holding my coils? coils? Yo, what the fuck, says the youth. What says the Indian man holding my coils? Yo, what the fuck, just let me charge my phone, I even pay you. I cannot do that for you, you want I Gert-fied for you. Boss already called me, ask why customer waiting for 30 minutes, bruh. Says the youth, finally the Indian man scans my coils. The argument continues as I pay for my good sign, my name, push button for no receipt and leave without a word I don't understand, says the youth. I ain't doing nothing, I ain't bothering you, I just wanna charge my phone. Agent. Blueberry lemon hit-arized. Bruh, just let me charge my phone, I ain't even doing nothing, bro. Bruh, I cannot do that.